Hello, everyone. Welcome to September's TBC Power Hour. We're coming to you live from Berlin and Energio 2017. The topic today is going to be introducing Trimble Clarity. I want to thank you for joining us. I'm here with Larry Rosenbaum, who is the product manager for Trimble Clarity, and he will be guiding you through the product and how it's introduced and integrated into TBC. So that's us. I'll let you decide which one is me. I've got those two little ones, and Larry's above me. Larry, I can't thank you enough in your help and your presentation and your preparation for this. And take it away.
Okay, thanks, Joe. The agenda today will, Joe's of course gone through the introduction. I'll give you a little background on Trimble Clarity and some PowerPoint slides on the workflow, and then we'll go into the demonstration of Trimble Clarity, and then Joe will come back in and give you some info on the next steps and some TBC information.
And through Larry's presentation, if you've got any questions, please type them in. We'll save them for the end, where we should have enough time to address anything. Anything we don't get to live here, we will get to you offline.
Okay. Trimble Clarity. What problem does it solve, and what is it? That is two of the questions that we have been getting. So we'll start with the first one here. Our clients over the past year, and with the scanning data becoming more prevalent and panoramic images, our customers have continually asked, how can I share this with my clients? They think the data collection and everything's great, but there's it's hard to share such large data sets and train their clients on how to open it in an engineering software and possibly to do some just quick measurements and get some information out of the data set. So that's the first question that Trimble Clarity is trying to solve, to make it much easier for you, our customers, to share your data with your end clients. And what is Trimble Clarity? It's a simple web-based viewer that our customers can easily share geospatial data with their non-technical or technical clients. It's essentially a station-based view of geospatial data in a web browser, very similar to Google Street View, if you will. It's based on and uses our Trimble Connect platform, which provides file management and hosting, and also controls access to the data set by invitation. Starting off with the workflow, it's embedded into TBC. You go through the same normal workflow in prepping your data as you normally would, and then at the end you can export, publish to Clarity, and it essentially builds a we term them skybox, 6 images around each station, and those images are panoramic images, and also you have scan data. It will generate range information to overlay on that image. So that's the basic. Those get published to created onto your local hard drive, and then future plans are to include this capability in other Trimble software in the near future. Once they're created on your local drive, the command in TBC automatically kicks off Trimble Clarity Publisher, which converts the skybox images into a presentation and uploads them to a folder in your Trimble Connect project. Now, if you don't have a Trimble Connect ID, It'll allow you to create one right there on the fly. This is all free to any user that has TBC 4.0 advanced module under current warranty. Once the images are presentation is published to the cloud, Trimble Connect Cloud, it's further conditioned automatically so it makes it more efficient streaming to the web browser. Within Trimble Connect, this is where you do your file management. You select which presentation you want to view, and or using the sharing tools, you create a email with a web link that allows you to email that to your clients, and all they do is open the email, click on the link, and it takes them right into the web viewer. So like I mentioned, the business clients select the link in the email, and it opens them directly to the web viewer, where the web viewer allows them to visualize in the station view the image data and overlaid scan data. That allows them to make some measurements, create some annotations, change to different stations. Very intuitive navigation, simple for non-engineering types to use. We can flip back and forth between metric and feet, meters and feet. And we also have a map background. If you have georeferenced information in your data set, we can place a map background behind the station view. Where can I get this? What's the availability? Well, it's automatically installed with TBC 4.0. As I mentioned earlier, there's no cost to Trimble customers or their clients as long as you have the advanced module and it's under warranty. We have a website, geospatial.trimble.com. You can find a tech sheet on the Clarity page, and soon to be available on the same page we'll have some videos to help go through and explain workflows and such for Trimble Clarity. So with that, I'll go in and show you the workflow. We start out in TBC. This is a SX10 data set, has images and 3D scan data. You would prep your data just like I mentioned earlier, just like you normally would. And if we go to the publish clarity command, you set up your views. Anything that you see in TBC is what you would see in Clarity. So you want to set up your view filter to display the information that you would like to see in Clarity. Currently, we support viewing scan data, line work, text. If you want to turn on feature codes, we can display them too. Just remember that you're going to be looking at a station view, so some things might not be real nice looking in a station view. So once we have the view filter set up, we want to publish to Clarity, and if you have a Trimble Connect profile, you can enter it here. You don't have to. We can leave that, and as soon as we go to publish, it'll ask us for that information. So if you have multiple view filters and you've already set up some standard view filters that you use, you select the view filter here, and right now we're just going to pick one station and hit publish. This kicks off a Trimble Clarity Publisher. And So we log in using our login. If you don't have a login, you can create a new Connect login right here, and it's going to go up and communicate with Trimble Connect and bring back information to allow you to pick the folder to place your presentation. And it didn't like that. Sorry, we have some internet issues sometimes here. Okay, we'll go through and come back to this in a minute. But it it interacts with TBC and builds the skybox images and shows you progress as it's pushing it up to Trimble Connect. Once it gets into Connect, we pick our folders to select and put our information in, our presentations within them, and this is all the presentations once they've been conditioned to stream properly. They'll have the extension T-Press. So for you to go in and look at this in the viewer, you as the publisher can go in and look around before you send an invite to a user, and we'll go and open this in the Clarity viewer. So it's downloading the presentation to our web viewer, and I'm using Chrome here. It works just fine in Microsoft Edge viewer as well as Firefox. This is a 6-station SX10 survey around our office building in Alpharetta, Georgia. So we did this survey in about half a day, collected scans at every station, and some detailed scans here and there. So very simple viewer. Stations are displayed down here. We had geo-referenced information, so they're pulled up with a background map. Left mouse allows me to pan left and right, up and down, and rollerball allows me to zoom in and out. Simple, intuitive navigation. We also have the buttons at the top here. I'll just kind of quickly go through what they are. The first one is a cursor type. So this cursor that I'm using right now is essentially the default Windows cursor. We can also have a distance, a sphere that gives us information on a distance. and we have a scale, and I'll bring those up in a little later to show you what the difference looks like. This will show us areas that have scan data associated with the file. Any area that's highlighted in red, there's no scan information, so you won't be able to measure from that area or place an annotation in that area. This button hides or shows the map at the bottom, and this goes into our measurement mode, goes into our annotation mode, and this will hide annotations and measurements or bring them up. So I'll demonstrate these in a short minute. So navigation, like I said, left left mouse navigation. If you want to switch stations, you can do it 3 different ways. There's a station, a little sphere on the station down here. I can click on that. It's hard to see, I'm sure, on over a webinar. But if you can click on it that way to switch stations, you can also switch on the red dots on the map, or you can pull up this flyout and pick the stations from the list. Now, in the flyout, we also have views where we can have saved views with each presentation. So I can quickly jump. I can set up annotations and measurements to features that I'm interested in and my clients are going to be interested in, and I can save them to a view. And then when I send my email out to my customers to take a look at the data, you can also put a little note in there to instruct them to open the views on the left side pull out with the camera icon and look at view 3 of the front of the building. So all they have to do is open this and click on this view, and they'll see all the annotations that you've created and saved for them. If you just want to allow them to open up and look at data, they may want to make some quick measurements on their own. So we can go into measurement mode, and I can just say I want to measure from here to here, and it brings up a bubble with the information. In that bubble, you can also add other annotation. Along with it, everything's totally editable. You can also go in and delete annotations and measurements. If the annotations or the measurements are within a view and you delete them, if you come back to that view, they should return with the saved view. So as long as they're saved in a view and the view is not modified, your original annotations will persist. To create an annotation, it's the same way that we did a measurement. We just switch to annotation mode and pick a location, and it builds a text box. I'm going to go ahead and add one more little measurement here to show you another feature. We switch stations to the second station down to the south, and I turn around, and all the dimensions and the annotation that was on this corner is not visible because this tree occludes information, that's scan data from getting to that corner of that building. So but yet this annotation that I just placed on this side is visible from both stations, so it's going to show up just like the annotations on the light poles. They're visible from both stations, so they will show from either station. That's to also help you, like this survey goes completely around the building. We've scanned the building on all 4 sides, So if I put measurements on windows and dimension a couple of windows back here and then those on the front, I'm not going to see the dimensions from both sides and be confused as to which one's for the front, which one's for the back. It's only going to show me information from what I can see from this station. We can also, like I mentioned, so go in and say hide the markup. So it just turns all the dimensions and the annotations on and off. I can add a view, create a new view. So I'm going to say view 2. And then if I switch to a different view, mess around, do some annotations or whatever, I can always come back to view 2, and it brings up everything and then figures out which things it can hide and which it should show. So you also have, you can update views, you can delete views. Settings, let me switch to a different view here. Settings, this is where we would change our units. So your survey feet versus meters, so it updates all the measurements that you have in the view.
Hey Larry, while you're in this project, can you show us how far you can zoom in to the data?
Yes. This was taken with the primary camera on the SX10. So I have a telephoto image right here from the SX10. So it'll also build those into the panorama. But you can zoom in fairly good. The cursor also scales, so you can see the cursor is an indication of where there's scan data and where there's not. So if I wanted to go directly to the corner of that building, you can see there's no information out here or up here, but they're eventually right there. So I could measure from there to the corner of the building.
So the measurements are taken from the point cloud data.
They're taken from the point cloud data. It's just the point. It's a image, range image from the point cloud data. So the data is not actually streamed to the viewer. It's just a snapshot image from TBC. Okay, so how do I share this with my customers? Well, before we get out there, let me show you the different cursors. We have a distance cursor, which is nothing more than just a sphere. So you can see as it gets closer to me, the sphere grows in scale. So it comes in useful if I'm trying to measure to this light pole. You can see, let me zoom in some. You can see how it's on the ground right there. So right there, I'm now hitting the light pole. So you can see how the cursor kind of scales up to show you that you're in closer in range. So you're not hitting something that you know when you're on the pole versus getting off of it. The other cursor that we have is somewhat of a range pole. We're in metric mode right now, so each color is half a meter. So you can kind of use this to get a scale. If I wanted to change this up to, say, 2 meters, So it shows you 2 meters in height at the scale that you're looking at. So it's a quick way to see, give you indication, and you can use it the same way as the sphere to give you some feedback as when you're on a something like this light pole versus I might miss it just a little bit. So these measurement modes, these two, you see how if I turn an annotation on, I can only have annotation or measurement on at any time. So, and if I want to turn them both off, I just click on the one that's active and it toggles it to a null state. So the next thing is, how do I show this to my customers? How do I share this information with my customers? So if we go back to Trimble Connect, I highlight this presentation and put it with the checkbox, and then I go to the right here. There's a email icon that says share. So I'll click on share, and I'll change this to any users with the link. I type in their email address here. Create the link to stick in the email and say done. And it's going to send off an email to Joe and with a link in it where all he has to do is click on the link and it's going to open, bring him into the Trimble Clarity viewer. So that's really all the features there are to Trimble Clarity. Very simple viewer for TBC data, meant to be easy to get information in the hands of your customers and allow them to fend for themselves, if you will, getting some basic measurements and collaborating with you and other people interested in the data set.
All right, so Larry, while you're still in the viewer, we've got some specific viewer-based questions. Does the viewer work in Internet Explorer?
Yes, it does.
And then how about on mobile devices?
It's not going to work on a mobile phone. It will work on a tablet, Windows-based tablet, touchscreen, and so on. I have had it work in Safari on a Mac, and I have had it work on an iPad with Safari, but it's not very stable and not consistent on an iPad. So right now we can't tell you that it's going to work on an iPad. The best thing I can do is say try it, and if it works, please send me an email, and if it doesn't work, please send me an email. So, but it will work on a Windows-based tablet. But it's mainly desktop.
Okay. When you were making the vertical measurement and you started higher and went lower, it was a positive number. Was it thought of to make that negative to show direction, or is it more of just like a clearance type measurement?
Haven't thought about making that a negative number. Distance is a distance, so I've not thought about that. I mean, it really makes no difference which way we go for the measurement. It's going to give me the same bit of information. So I guess I don't have a good answer for that. There's no way once I'm finished with that measurement, there's no way for anyone else to tell what direction, which point I click first and which point I click second. So
Sure.
that's, I guess that's my argument for distance information. It's just a display of the space between those 2 points.
Yeah, that makes sense. Those units that you got on meters, and you can toggle between meters and feet, is there a way to set a default unit? It seemed defaulted 2 meters, or can you set the default to US survey feet?
It's gonna be persistent. So the next time that, if, I guess the best way to put this is, when you start out using the viewer, it's going to default to meters. I'm sorry, but it's going to default to meters. And but if I leave it in feet right here and I close this view and come back, it should be in feet. So it gets saved based on the presentation. But when you open, the first time you open a presentation, it's going to be in metric.
Okay. Well, it's like setting the default anyways, if it's persistent.
Yeah, it's persistent. It'll persist from one session to the next.
So this data set was in SX10. Is this tool specifically designed for the SX10, or can other terrestrial scans and imagery be used?
Yeah.
And then I've got a part 2 to that too.
Okay, we can support any of the Trimble Vision instruments, V10, the S series. We even support the scan information from the VX series and those instruments. If you only load images, panoramic images, with such as the V10, your functionality will be the same, moving around from station to station and navigating, rotating around through the view, but you will not be able to place an annotation or do any measurement because there's no scan data behind it. So we can use scan data from some of the other instruments. If it's very sparse and coarse data, then when I turn on this, it will look somewhat checkerboardy, kind of like here. So you'll have a lot of holidays in between the data points.
Okay. And then the follow-up is, can UAV or mobile data be supported by this?
Not supported at the current time. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. A couple more questions. We've had a lot of really great questions. Thank you, everyone. The scan data that is taken from the station view, let's say this is station S1, is the point cloud used in the viewer from only the S1 station, or does it use all of the point cloud data that you sent up from TBC?
Very good question. That's from each station. It only uses the scan data from that station, because one of the reasons for that, if I wanted to do some measurements to, say, this tree, if I had scan data from another station that actually scanned the reached behind the tree and into the building, it would be confusing as to which data set I wanted to get to, and very difficult actually in a station view to be able to get to the back data set. And you also wouldn't want to be able to measure from this facade on the building with the back facade, other side of the building also in the view, because it would be, again, difficult to know which points you were hitting, the front of the building or the back of the building. So it's only scan data from the station that you're looking from.
Okay. And then 2 questions on the data sharing. Does the user whose the data is shared with, that you showed right at the end there, do they have to create any sort of account with Trimble? And then the how you sent that email to invite that, does that function within Connect interface with some sort of an address book? Do you know?
Okay. the answer to the first question, no, they do not have to create any ID, pass any information into Trimble to create an account of any kind whatsoever. It's an anonymous link login essentially. So no, they're not giving any information back to Trimble or creating an account. The second part of that question, it does not interface with what's the
address book.
Address book. Yeah, it doesn't interface with the address book. You can get them listed in a. You can copy and paste. Is the best thing I can tell you. If you go into your email system and build an email to everybody that you want, and then just copy the emails out of the to thing and paste them, that would work. But right now it doesn't interface with a contact list.
Okay. A question on the measurement. The measurements are taken from the point cloud data, so their positions and everything is exported from TBC. And Larry, I know you've worked with this data a lot. It looks like that window that you measured in the background is 8.3 feet tall.
No. That's the. Oh wait. Yes, 8.3 tall. Correct.
Okay. So the accuracy of the clarity measurement is dependent on the point cloud.
Yes.
Could be it's taken its positional information from the position of those individual points in the point cloud data.
Yes.
Okay. Sean asked if you can zoom in and see the cloud data.
Well, the answer is the cloud data is there, but they're colored. They're using the imagery to color them, so they're very, very difficult to see. I can't show you someplace in particular where I can point out the point cloud because they're taking their colors from the imagery and they blend in. Let's see if I can find a better one.
While Larry is doing this, I want to stress again that this functionality is included with your TBC Advanced license with a valid warranty. So if you have TBC Advanced and are out of warranty and would like to use this functionality, you have to renew. If you've got TBC Base or our newly minted TBC Intermediate, I just tripped myself up there, formerly known as TBC Complete, now known as TBC Intermediate, you would have to then go ahead and upgrade to TBC Advanced.
I'm sorry, I can't find. There's not a good spot on this data set that shows you the point cloud because they're all colored with the RGB values. So they're there. They have to be turned on and visible for them to be exported. So I guess what I can say is you have to take my word for it.
Yeah, and so it's critical that you set the project up properly because what you see in TBC is what you're going to get in Trimble Clarity. There's no planes or anything being created in TBC. It's just taking that spatial data, or excuse me, in Trimble Clarity, it's just taking that spatial data, that spatial information from TBC, publishing it up to the cloud, and then Clarity is viewing it and using that information for these measurements and references. All right, a good one from Mel. Can this be sent directly from a Windows tablet or Trimble Clarity from the field? So a surveyor in the field would need or could be able to do this because of a long distance away from an office or something preventing them from getting back into the office. I think I can answer this one. If you've got a device that's got TBC Advanced running on it, you can leverage this functionality. We've just announced a new tablet offering, a T10, that is supporting TBC. I've tested it myself. It is not like some TBC operations on past tablets or past mobile devices. It is, for most situations for a project like this, I would be confident in telling you that I would expect it to work on the new T10 Trimble tablet. So if you've got a device in the field that'll run TBC and you have that internet connection, then you would be able to leverage this in the field.
Yes, that's true.
All right, some data hosting and account questions. Is there any cost for hosting the data? Is there any hosting limitations?
No, there is not. With the active warranty, you have essentially been granted a Trimble Connect business license, which gives you unlimited number of projects, unlimited number of invites to collaborators, and unlimited storage space. Now, with that said, we do reserve the right to, if you put up gigabytes and gigabytes and terabytes of information, then you probably will get an email eventually that's saying, you might be abusing the privileges and we might want you to take a little data down. So, but for general purposes, no, there's no limit.
Okay. And then warranty. So if I've got a TBC warranty that expires next month, does Clarity expire kind of like the Access Sync or TCC account?
Yes.
Oh,
so there's a grace period. If we're not going to delete your data, if your warranty expires on Thursday, we're not going to delete your data Thursday night, and Friday you renew your warranty and it's all gone. That's not going to happen. But your access to your projects will be locked until the warranty is reactivated.
Okay. Some questions of interfacing with Revit. Can AutoCAD Revit import this 3D model? That would be the TPRES format. That would not be a yeah.
No, they cannot. This is specific only to our Clarity viewer on the web.
All right. If the cloud is rendered in grayscale in TBC, does it also render in grayscale in Trimble Clarity?
Yes. If you had displayed the point cloud in grayscale or intensity, however you want to term it, in TBC, that's what you would see here. So if you had images with the point cloud overlaid, you would have essentially the gray intensity over the images.
Okay. We talked about this. I don't think there's any examples of this though. In Trimble Clarity, do we support 3D line strings and CAD line work? And if that is possible, then could we use those nodes, those vertices of the lines to get measurements?
It's not going to snap to the endpoints of the line work because the line work is actually not there. It's just an image of the line, image as you would see it in TBC from the station view. So right now we don't have any snap functionality. That's just outside the scope of version 1.
Okay. A couple of questions, follow-ups back to the measurements. When I click a point to pick, does it pick the closest scan point, or it takes the direction out of the picture from the distances? We kind of covered that a little bit with the changing clicker interface. Could you measure that same window from a different station, Larry, and show that?
Well, I can't get to the same window, but I can let's possibly do this one.
Sure, it's the same size.
I think I can see this from the other station also.
Yeah, so the vertical is 8.28 feet. So it's consistent. Depending on, I mean, Larry's just quickly picking points.
Too many trees. Okay, let's see if I can see that little thing right there.
These are great questions, everyone. Keep them coming.
Let's go this way. It's getting confused with the other measurements. So
That's okay. We can move on. These file sizes seem small. Does this mean the computing is being handled on the server? Is it dependent on the internet speed or the computer computing power?
All the calculations for measurements and such are based in the web viewer, so that's local to your browser. The only thing that's coming from the server are images, the pyramid of images. So there's no magic in the background happening between your web browser and the server. The only time there's any traffic is when I start zooming in and out. So I couldn't measure right here because it was getting confused with this other measurement. So I measured the same kind of square from this station, and this measurement was done from the previous station. So there's pretty good. I don't know that I picked the same points, the same squares, but center of the square, but one's a little wider and one's a little taller. So it must be my picking.
Another two-parter here relating to Trimble RealWorks. I know we've talked about this, but are there any plans to offer this feature in RealWorks?
Being a publicly traded company, I can't say that what we're going to do in the future, but all I can say is we are looking into integrating this with other Trimble Office products.
Okay. And then we see this continually evolving, without getting into specifics, but something similar like a Scan Explorer function with additional measurements or extractions. I mean, we'll continue to build and develop this product, correct?
That's correct.
Is there a print utility built into this?
No, there's not. The only thing that I can suggest is if you get to a view that you like and would like it printed, the only thing I can suggest is take a screenshot of your screen and save it to a screen capture, save it to a file, and then you can either email that or print it, either one. But right now, there is no screen capture or anything. You just need to use a utility to do that.
All right. Does Trimble Clarity Viewer support orthophotos that were created in TBC?
Does it support orthophotos?
They would be in view of stations. They do display in the station view.
Is the orthophotos used in the panoramas? Stitching the panoramas together?
No, they would be extracted from the panoramas.
The answer is no. If they're not used, if it's not used in the stitching the panoramas together from the raw images, then it's not going to be used in Clarity.
Okay. A couple more here. Let me read through. Is it possible to get horizontal and vertical measurements? Yes, those are included in the measurement tools. Is there any plans to be able to pick point coordinates? We've shown measurements, but anything to extract coordinate information from this?
I've been getting a lot of requests and for that information, so it's going to move up on the enhancement list. Let's leave it at that.
Sure, sure. Potentially, yep, no, these are two more questions here. Is this a read-only file? If you close it down, is everything lost?
It's to some degree. If I wanted to save some of these new annotations and measurements that I have created, I would either have to update a view or create a new view. And once I create the view, then it's saved till the next time. It's saved and persists. So if I close this session down, in fact, I'll just do that. So I'll close the session down. Now, I'll give it a time or so to write to the database, and I'll open it back up. So if you don't save a view, that's how annotations and information that you placed in the scene is persisted. So everything that I just created and saved in that view is there. So if I just do something new and create an annotation, but I don't update the view or save it in a new view, then that's lost.
Okay. Then about editing views, the clients who you share this data with, can they edit views?
No, they cannot without a Trimble ID. So if you want clients to be able to do such things as that, then they need to create a free account in Trimble Connect and log in to the viewer with their Trimble ID, and then they will be able to save views, create measurements and save views and update views.
Okay. All right, Larry, I got one quick one here from Ruben, and then we'll jump back into the presentation and finish the hour off. The format of the background map images, those are from the collecting instrument in the field, the total station, correct?
This background map?
Yes, the background map, excuse me.
This comes from OpenStreetMaps. So here at Energeo, I've been getting a lot of requests. They have some special map services that they utilize in Europe and Germany, and they have made some special requests to be able to pull up different background maps. So that's something that we can look into. Possibly in a version in the future, we might have a user interface to where you can go out and pick your map service to put in the background.
Great. All right, that's all that's been submitted so far. If you've got anything else, please sneak them in here, and we can contact you after the presentation. So I really want to thank Larry for this demonstration. I hope everyone's excited. We've got a lot of positive feedback and questions on this, both here at the conference and online just now. So thank you for your interest in Clarity, and please let Larry or myself know if you've got any further questions or comments or enhancements to this product. We're very, very excited about its launch. Next month, I'm happy to announce I'll be diving back into the cadastral world with our friend Jared Black from Rochester's in Georgia. We're going to be talking about the legal description writer feature that was added in TBC in version 3.90 and dealing with that writer and then map closures within TBC. So please, I hope you attend that. That will be on Wednesday, October 25th. We'll go back to offering it in the morning in the United States and then in the afternoon in the United States for a little bit better global coverage. Some TBC resources. some outreaches here with Trimble community and the TBC Facebook page you can reach us at. The TBC survey YouTube channel will be updated here over the next week or two with new TBC 4.0 feature videos and overview videos as well. And then the TBC Power Hours that we've been doing now for 2.5 years, they're all archived on that web address there, available for your viewing pleasure anytime you would like. Go over a lot of topics in TBC, and they're available to you at no charge. So if you've liked what you've seen, visit our new TBC website. It's available through the new geospatial.trimble.com website, and download TBC 4.00. Again, this is Clarity is included with TBC Advanced with a valid warranty. That valid warranty can be a demo license if you're a new or prospective customer. Talk to your local Trimble distribution partner for a demo license. And then I would recommend starting with some of our workflow-based tutorials that are included with TBC, checking out our YouTube videos, or asking a question on our TBC community page. All right. Kind of jumped ahead and did this already. It was nice to do it in the software, in the viewer itself. Thank you for the compliment, Steve. I hope more people agree with you that this is a great product, and hopefully our customers and our clients will have much success with it and expand in some business opportunities as well. Larry, you got any final words of wisdom for us?
Not too many words of wisdom. Just thank you everybody for watching in, and thanks for all the great questions. Those were great. Made me think.
All right. Well, thank you again, Larry, for your time and your preparation for this. And we'll see everybody in a couple of weeks with Legal Description Writer. Have a nice day. Have a nice evening. Have a good morning wherever you are. And thank you again.